It's the weekend and I just want to spend some cozy time reading. It is beginning of November. We're moving out of spooky season and on towards Christmas season. So I think I should look for something heartwarming. It's time for a cozy weekend vlog. I have a bunch of books that I'm trying to get done. This is Simon. You'll rarely ever see him because he's very shy. Come here, Simon. Come here, Simon. This little guy is very shy because he was abused before we got him. So he's very, very shy. You rarely ever see him. Anyways, yeah, so it's time for a cozy weekend vlog. It is the beginning of November, and I just felt like I wanted to take some time and just do some relaxing. So I have quite a few books that I'm trying to read this month, but one of them that you'll recognize from my TBR game, if you watch that, is that I'm going to be reading Somewhere Beyond the Sea. This is the new book by TJ Klune. It came out in September, and it is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, which was one of my favorite books this year so far. I just absolutely loved that book. So I thought for the cozy weekend vlog, since I'm going to be at home pretty much all weekend now, it's Friday night here, and I might have to do a little bit of stuff tomorrow. We're going to probably wash windows because it's actually quite nice outside for November. But we're going to do some stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm planning on just sitting around, not doing too much. I wanted to do lots of reading and lots of writing this weekend. So I thought that this weekend I would try and read Somewhere Beyond the Sea. It's the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, which follows a guy named Linus Baker. In this world, there's magical children who are, once they've discovered that they've had magic, they're taken away from their families and sent to these basically orphanages. And they're looked after by this Department of Magical Youth. Linus is a social worker or caseworker for the Department of Magical Youth, and his job is to go and investigate these orphanages and make sure that everything's on the up and up, and make sure that the children aren't too dangerous, make sure that they're being cared for, all that sort of stuff. In the first book, Linus gets assigned by extremely upper management to go out to this island in the Cerulean Sea and look after or check in on this orphanage out there where some of the most dangerous magical children are kept. Linus is a by-the-book guy. He has the book memorized. He doesn't know what the consequences of his decisions and his reports are, but he thinks he's doing good. So when he gets to the island, it's him and his cat, who's very funny. But he gets to the island and he meets the master of the orphanage, whose name is Arthur Parnassus. And Arthur is a very interesting person. He really takes it upon himself to teach these magical youth that they are worth something, that they're loved, you know, all those kinds of things. And he's a really cool character. And throughout the story, you get to meet these magical kids who are really fun. And it's a very entertaining book. It was heartwarming. There was a lot of, moments where I was, squeeing and kicking my feet. And it's also a bit of a love story. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading the sequel. The sequel is told from Arthur Parnassus's point of view. And he's the headmaster of the orphanage, and he looks at these magical youth as his own children. And I believe this one kind of follows where the other one left off, but also you get to see some of the events that happened in Arthur's perspective. And it's also, you get more of his backstory, which was really interesting in the first one. And it looks like a new magical child is going to be joining them on their island home. And so we'll see we'll see how that goes. But I know the first book was just so heartwarming, and I gave it 5 stars, and I loved it. So I think this should be a really good cozy read for this weekend as we're heading into the out of the spooky fall season and a little bit more towards the Christmas season. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to also be focusing on doing a bunch of writing this weekend and editing, because November is National Novel Writing Month. If you have been around the writing community at all, you'll know about NaNoWriMo is what they call it. And during that period, you try and write 50,000 words on a novel during the month of November. So it's quite a huge task. I have successfully done it a couple of times, and I have failed at it many times. But my goals this year are a little different. A lot of us will still take part in it, even if we're not doing the official, Nano on their web page and everything. And sometimes we set our own goals. And for me, because I'm doing a bunch of editing on my 5th novel so that I can get it out by hopefully February, I set a goal to finish all of the editing of my novel this month, and then also to write 25,000 words either through editing or on a new book. So I have started the 6th book in my series. I've written part of the first scene, and I have done quite a bit of editing, but I am behind where I would like to be for this period in the month. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of that too, and yeah, just probably doing some outside stuff while it's nice during the day, and trying to do a bunch of reading and get this book done this weekend. So I will update you when I make some progress. Well, my day hasn't gone exactly as planned. It is now about 7:30 at night, but I have made some good progress in Somewhere Beyond the Sea. I'm on to chapter 4 and 56 pages in, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I loved getting back into the world of these characters again, just being able to see them all again, see them interacting is so awesome. So really enjoying it so far. Right now, a lot of it is being told through Arthur's point of view, which is very interesting because we're going to get a lot of his backstory in this book. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. Right now, I don't want to give too much plot-wise away, but it's involving Arthur testifying about what happened to him when he was a child. And then also they're looking at bringing another magical child to the island. So we will see where that goes. I'm really enjoying it so far. I love the writing, like usual. And I'll let you know when I get a little further. I'm not feeling the greatest tonight, so I think I'm actually going to lay down for a bit. I don't usually go to bed this early, but I'm just not feeling very good tonight. So I'm going to lay down for a bit and then hopefully feel a little bit better later so that I can do some writing and do a little bit more reading. But I will let you know how everything else goes. Had a decent day today. Got a bunch of windows washed and did a bunch of stuff like that. So it's a busy day. Not exactly a cozy day, but you got to make hay while the sun shines, as they say, in November, middle of November, when it's this warm and no snow on the ground. You do things that you didn't get a chance to do yet before winter, which is, in our case, wash windows. So, yeah, I will update you guys when I get a little further, and hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better. update time. It's Sunday. Lost track of my times there. It's Sunday afternoon, and I did manage to get a little bit more reading done last night, and a little bit of writing after I napped for a bit because I was not feeling good last night. But anyways, I did manage to get some stuff done. I am at 100 pages in now to Somewhere Beyond the Sea, and I'm loving it. It feels like just stepping right back into a familiar, happy world. I mean, obviously not everything is happy. It's the start of the book. There's some pretty serious stuff going on, but it's still, you know, falling back in with those characters and getting to see them again. And just, I love the characters so much. So I'm really enjoying that. This one, it's dealing with some pretty serious issues to do with persecution against people who are different from you. And I like all the things that he's talking about in there. And he is talking also about not only in the book, you know, it's magical versus non-magical people, but also he's talking about persecution against people of different sexual orientations and that sort of thing as well. So I find it very interesting, very timely, given what's going on in the world right now. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm going to go and take a nice hot bath and read some more, because I'm just got in from dragging hay into the horses and everything. It's super windy and cold today, so I figured a nice hot bath and some reading would be nice. And then I did manage to get several pages edited. I wrote around 1,000 words and edited about 9 pages of my novel, so that's kind of cool. And sometime before the end of this vlog, I'll tell you what my novels are about, since I've been mentioning them, because I'm working on the 5th one right now, and there's 6 in total for the series. So, but I'm going to go and have a nice relaxing bath and do some reading, and I will let you guys know how it goes and how far I get. I'm still hoping to try and finish the book today. We will see, because I still have about 300 pages, and that might be pushing it. So we will see, but I will let you know. So, update time to finish things off. Yesterday, which was Sunday, I ended up getting a little bit more writing done. And I had told you guys I'd tell you what my books were about. So there's 4 so far, and then I'm working on the 5th one. And they follow a young man named Jake Harrow. They're set in the 1930s in Canada. He gets kicked off the farm that he grew up on for getting a little too close with the farmer's daughter, and ends up riding the rails looking for work. Through the series, he is searching for family. He's searching for a place that he belongs, and going through the historical events of the 1930s. It's a lot of adventure, and the first one is kind of a bit of a coming of age, and then throughout the rest of the series, he's growing up. The first one takes place in 1931, and then the second one also takes place in 31. The third one takes place in 32. Fourth one takes place in 33, and then the 5th one is 35. So they're called Dust and Devils. It's the first one. Then we have Sin and Salvation, Ghosts and Grifters, and Blood and Boxcars. And then the 5th one's going to be Riot and Retribution. And there are going to be 6 total to complete the series. I'm working on the 6th one now. But, yeah, so that's the series. Jake ends up looking for the father that he never knew, and that leads him into all kinds of trouble. And then he gets into some more trouble of his own, and there's him learning about all kinds of things, relationships, and you know, helping people, and just in general, lots of stuff happens in the series. So if you want to check that out, I always have a link to the books down in my description box. So anyways, yeah, so I worked on that, and then last night I finished Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. I loved this book. 5 stars right away. I didn't even have to put it into my caw pile thing to know it was 5 stars. First of all, like I mentioned before, this was just like coming home. You were coming back to a family that you loved. Because in the first book, I just absolutely adored it. I think it's just going to be a duology. I don't think there's going to be any more. I loved the way this one ended. So, I mean, if he writes more, he writes more, but this ended in a way that I just absolutely loved. You get a lot more of Arthur's backstory in this one, which is very interesting. And you get to meet a new child. And of course, the other ones are there and they're slowly growing up. And they are facing issues again with the they're facing issues again with the department in charge of magical youth. And yeah, it's the messages in this book are so good too. It talks a lot about how we see people who are different from us and how we treat them and how people should be treated as being humans, even though we're different. So really, really love the messages in it. It deals a lot with response to trauma, which is very, very good. And I just love the characters so much. It's just, it's so good. I just absolutely adore it. So anyways, this duology is definitely one of my favorite series and one of my favorite ones from this year. So I'm sure that these will end up on my top 10 of the year. So anyways, that's it for now. I'm just had to work today, so that's why I didn't update you guys till tonight. And I'm gonna go and relax for a little bit, maybe start another book. So please remember to give my video a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And down in the comments, let me know if you've read either of the books in this series and what you thought of them, and whether you liked the sequel or not. So let me know that down in the comments, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.